Hi everyone, in this lesson we are going to learn how to conduct meetings, or in other words, we are going to learn about meeting procedures. Before we start our meetings, it is very important for us to answer these questions. First, what is the topic of our meeting? What is it that we are going to discuss in the meeting? And when are we going to conduct the meetings? And who will participate in the meeting discussion? And who need to be there in the meeting? And finally, where are we going to conduct our meetings? To answer all those questions, we need to have effective meeting strategies. Okay, number one is plan or planning. So, in planning, the chairperson needs to be clear about the purpose and objective of the meeting. He or she needs to write down the purpose and objective and other information needed for the meeting on a piece of paper. Okay, he or she needs to do this before even writing the agenda or inviting the attendees. When we have the information written on a piece of paper, then we can review the information to help determine whether the info is still necessary or significant, so that we can avoid wasting time discussing on unnecessary items during the meeting. The second strategy is about the participants. When we want to conduct a meeting, we have to make sure that we only invite attendees or participants who are involved with the objective of the meeting or assigned with the task and can contribute great ideas, carry out tasks effectively, and can make decisions firmly. It is very important for us to choose the right participant for the meeting so we do not have any sleeping partners in the group. Next is notification. When we want to conduct a meeting, we have to make sure that the participants of the meeting are well informed of the details of the meeting. They need to know the date and all sorts of other information such as the objective, the agendas, and the previous minutes. Okay, they need to have all this information at least 14 days before the meeting is going to be conducted. Next strategy is about time. When we are conducting a meeting, we must always be punctual and respect others' time and commitment. The meeting has to start on time and end according to the time stated in the meeting notice. If, let's say, we still have any unfinished discussion, we can just conduct another meeting at another time and date, as the attendees of our meeting might have other commitments too. And the attendees who cannot make up the meeting or cannot come to the meeting should inform the organizer in advance. The fifth strategy is standardizing. When we are conducting a meeting, we have to standardize ground rules and practices. Ground rules refers to the code of conduct in the meeting. When we are setting all the ground rules and practices, we are actually helping ourselves to make sure that our meeting will run smoothly. One example of ground rules is that we can set a rule to make sure that every participants respect one another and do not use any cursing words during the discussion. Besides, we can also set a rules that every topic can only be discussed at a maximum of 40 minutes. So when we have all these ground rules, our meeting we ran on smoothly according to the agenda. Next, we should also assign a secretary who can take accurate note and review the minutes of meeting with the participants and the chairpersons. Okay, by minutes of meeting here, I'm referring to the previous minutes of meeting as well as the current minutes of meeting. The next strategy is agreement. In a meeting, when we are making a decision, we have to get agreement from all the participants who attended the meeting. Or, in other words, we have to make sure that we reach a consensus. By getting agreement from all the attendees, it shows that they understand and accept what is required of them. Once we already reach a consensus on the subject of a discussion, we have to assign a person in charge of the task and set a deadline for the task to be completed. The final strategy is follow up. Once we're done with the meeting, the secretary will have to write a minutes of meeting and send it to all the members of meetings. So after that, the secretary or the chairperson need to follow up with all the meeting attendees or participants to make sure that there is no misunderstanding and also to make sure that they really understand the task that they need to do once we're done with the discussion in the meeting. This will help them to complete the task effectively without any unexpected problems. Now, let's continue with the meeting procedures. So, first thing first, what is it that we need to do before the meeting? Number one, just like I said in the previous slide, we have to set the meeting goals, the purpose and objective. We have to understand why are we conducting this meeting. Once we're done with the goals, we have to identify the right meeting members and confirm a quorum. If the quorum is not enough, then we cannot conduct the meeting. Next, we have to appoint a secretary to prepare all the meeting documents and send the meeting documents to the participant before the meeting starts. The meeting documents includes the meeting notice, agenda, minutes of the previous of meeting, and other relevant documents. Besides, we have to make sure that we have already booked a venue for the meeting. If let's say if it's a physical meeting, there must be a meeting room booked for the meeting. Or if it's an online platform, make sure it has been set in advance. During the meeting, the chairperson has to make sure that the meeting is conducted according to the meeting agenda that has been shared with the participant previously. So here we have a list of agendas that we usually use for formal meeting. First, it starts with welcoming speech and greeting from the chairperson. And then the chairperson, with the help of the secretary, will ask for any apologies of absence. And then number three, uh, the chairperson will invite all the meeting members to go through the previous minutes of meeting. And if there is no adjustment, if there's no correction, then they will together confirm the minutes of the previous meeting. Next, we are going to the main business. Once we are done confirming the previous minutes of meeting, we move to the main business or the main agenda. So here, the chairperson need to make sure that all participants has a chance to participate in the discussion by agreeing and disagreeing, stating opinion, ask for clarification, suggesting preferences, and making decision. After we're done with the main business or the main agenda, then the chairperson can ask the participant if they have any other business to be discussed or shared in the meeting. If there's none, then they can move to the next agenda, which is discussing the date of the next meeting. Once we have confirmed the date of the next meeting, then the chairperson can announce that the meeting is adjourned. Once we're done with the meeting, now it's time for the secretary to prepare the minutes of the meeting. Previously, we allowed the secretary to send the minutes to all the meeting members within 7 days. But nowadays, most secretary will send the minutes of the meeting within just 24 hours. The minute should be distributed to all the meeting members, including those who are absent in the meeting. And the secretary need to assist and help the chairperson to follow up all issues and action to be taken as discussed in the meeting with all the participants. So that's all for our lesson. If you have any question, you can just send me a text via Telegram. Thank you very much.